So Homeless are going to be defending to start this one. They were able to pick up 8 rounds defending when we saw them on this map yesterday against T1. They did win the pistol, but then went on to lose round 2. Because T1, well, they do those things. They're very aggressive. But this is going to be sheer aggression onto the B site, and Laski's going to go down. Sam gets the trade, but here comes Mitch to clean things up. dephh is going to be on the other side just to make things a little bit more difficult, and he'll get, unfortunately, taken down by Relyks, and now the spike goes down, GB.
That all comes out because of Jet, right? Jet's able to fly in and disrupt timings. So they were not prepared to take the fight against the Jet on that ledge. And that was the reason why TenZ, like he always does, throws off the entirety of this roster. Supamen tried to get his best frag over there on the flank, but it ended up going over to the other side. Poised, though. Poised had a hot start at the beginning of that bind game, and we were really singing his praises, but it does not seem to be the case this time around. Cloud9 will walk away with a pistol round win to start things off.
And you're completely right. It's made easy when you've got a Jet dashing into sight, fearless and prepared to kind of take those first bullets. Like, live or die, it doesn't matter. You've got onto that site. You've managed to force those players back deep onto B. And once they're deep onto B, you can surround them. You can swarm that site and take them down. And after the spike had been planted and they had the man advantage, well, things were easy from that point. And it looks like they might just try and do the same thing again.
Yeah, they're going to do it again. There's no reason for them not to, because this fast aggression, this is a thing of beauty. I mean, everything that they're doing, it's just clicking. A notable thing from the game yesterday when they faced T1, no one was running Jet. And I do think that Jet is kind of a neutralizer for the composition that this team, Homeless, is running. Because the timings, as I said in the previous round, are going to get thrown off completely.
I think if you are going to play without a Sage, you have to be fast, because you can't allow yourself to just kind of peek every now and then, let your opponents chip away at your health total, and then decide to push to a site elsewhere when you're all going to be weak, or you can have a couple of players weak. Instead, take the game to your opposition. Say, we don't care about your Sage, we don't care where you are. We have the, what we feel, better agents. We have more to offer in terms of fragging power, flashing ability, utility. And that's exactly what we're seeing here, is just the aggression. And yes, okay, it's only pistol round and round 2. But I have a feeling that this might be the style that Cloud9 try throughout the entirety of this game.
So then how does this team respond? They don't necessarily have agents that could slow things down. Sam isn't getting an opportunity to set up and use some shock bolts to maybe apply some early damage. Perhaps that could be what they're aiming for this time, but the look is going to change now. They're bringing this over to A. You got a 3-sack here in A lobby. They are going to back away from this, so a good read there from Poised at the start.
I think that Homeless could do with just showing a little bit more aggression in certain areas. But they won't be able to do that until they get a little bit more comfortable with their money.
Yeah, but they did that last game and it just cost them dearly. Like,
but it's
Superman got aggressive,
now.
It just didn't work. It's true.
Without the Sage, as I was saying, like, I mean, you just have to try and do a little bit of damage to the health total. But Sam and Superman, okay, they're holding a little bit better now. Superman will get a second, and he's starting to look like the Superman of old, the Superman of yesterday. Doesn't need to make it 3 because dephh is there to support, and this should be a comfortable round for them. And a round that they should have won anyway because of the weapons that were available on the side of Cloud9. But now that's going to give them a little bit of more comfortability in this game. I don't know if comfortability is a word, but I've made it now, and I'm going to own it.
We'll look at Webster's. We'll find out. I'm sure there. I've heard that one used a few times. Comfortability. Say it 5 times fast. I don't think I can. I knew Moses was going to do it. Just baited you into it, Moses.
Comfortability. Noun. The condition of being comfortable. There we go. See, I'm not so stupid.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, man.
Well done for me, eh?
And I'm, you know, and well done for Homeless. They were able to stop this fast, aggressive play. They stopped the A rush. That really started at the beginning when Poised dropped that molly, so they weren't able to get that timing all out of whack the way that they've been benefiting from it on B site. Perhaps this time around, they're going to change things up, go back over to B. But they save that op for this next round. Economy-wise, though, should be all right for a few buys here.
Something we saw Mitch doing yesterday was being more than happy to kind of get aggressive into a B main here. Whether it be with an op, whether it be with a rifle, he says, look, you guys go wherever you want. I don't care if I'm a Sage, I'm going to try and get an early pick here. Because if I can get that early pick and get that information, then we can push willy-nilly wherever we may want. He's going to do the same thing again. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, he had a little nosy towards B main, but no one peeked as dephh takes down TenZ, and that is the perfect way to start a round. Eliminate the entry fragger. Here comes supamen to chime in as well.
So even though supamen does get killed by Relyks, they get the benefit of this one. And also, this is the benefit of those smokes. They control where the enemy team's going to go. They have those options. And they just play to those strengths that have really worked out for them when we saw them play the same map against T1.
A little bit more slow now.
Ooh, Poised gets on top. He got on top. Oh, what a play. Oh, Poised threats 3. Wow. What a play. He did not anticipate him to be able to get on top of the wall. And then the paranoia came right at that exact moment and gives Poised all those kills.
I think that takes me back to the real difference between having a Sage and not having a Sage, and having certain utility that's available or not available. Poised just being able to be there as this flashing character alongside the Omen, who has a flash, the paranoia of his own. If they can kind of sync up together, then that can be very detrimental on the opposition side. The Owl drone will come out to scout out B main and scare away Mitch from trying to get that early little peek, as the rest of Cloud9 are going to be heading towards A. And we are going to see the ult popped for TenZ. Does have double updraft as well. We saw what he was able to do yesterday with the double updraft over the arch to try and get the peek onto anyone in heaven. I wonder whether he'll go for something similar here.
Well, Mitch will have to get around to him, because what worked there was the fact that they have that wall.
Of course, yeah.
And Mitch is holding the angles on mid with that op. More smokes down and things start to delay. And as the rounds go on, and I know that C9's going to wait for just a burst through the archway, I do like Homeless's chances, because you allow Homeless to set up, and I think they thrive in those scenarios. Here we go now. The push is going to come. TenZ is inside of sight. Gets the kill on the run it back, knows exactly where Poised was going to be located. Oh, TenZ, though, only has a classic to his name, and he's going to be right underneath him. dephh and saw him get the kills there, but shinobi with the shock bolt from all the way at distance. And his Psalm wrapped around on the scaffolding. He's going to pay for his life with that one. Laski, last player left alive, will get called out. And watch out on the flank there, bud, because Mitch is on the hunt. And Mitch will most definitely be the one to secure this kill as soon as Laski gets it. And there it is. The op returns right back to the hands of Mitch. And he's all right with that.
It's all on that. It's a thrifty, and it's all down to TenZ really with his ult. Just again being really aggressive, pushing into the site, dashing in to ensure that there was no sort of cypher traps to hold up the rest of the team, and then knowing exactly where that run it back was from the Phoenix. You understand why Poised is gone for that play, but as soon as Poised dies there to the daggers, he is hopeless, and no one else was there to protect him. They still have money though, Homeless, so it's not too detrimental to their economy. As again, we're going to get a little bit of a Sova off here on the B side, as both using any sort of utility they have to offer to try and scout the other out.
Some will be able to get around, but gets a look. All right, so it's indication as to where Mitch is going to be located. I do wonder if that was intentional, because Mitch was there the entire time, actually. Didn't really poke out. Sometimes with these players, they're always just looking to play little mind games with each other.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even if it's just enough to keep one player at B site, that helps out the rest of the team, as Vice has got 2 and has neural theft now.
Yeah, well, No mind games needed when you know exactly where the enemy team is going to be located. TenZ pushed out all the way here. Som now will meet TenZ, as a matter of fact, because Som was on top of the scaffolding and TenZ waited for the perfect moment to jump through that glass and punish Som. Relyks in the mid, looking for anyone that could be pushing around in the transfer there, maybe getting out of that spawn. It will be a push through the dark cover potentially. I think he might actually take advantage of that one. They're looking for them because they want to take these guns away. They have the time to work with. Oh boy, Laski. Laski needs to be careful. Although dephh wins his battle, Laski will not be the same. And now it is all down to dephh to just hold on to this Vandal. Won't be able to do so. The numbers too great. And they get what they want out of that. They remove the guns away from their opponents. Don't allow them to be able to hold on to anything. And that is going to make their economy that much more of a problem for Homeless.
Big problem. Laski 0 and 4. Just hasn't been able to get going here, and their money is all over the shop. And that's why we're just going to see a half buy here, a couple of Spectres maybe to work with. It's going to be very difficult to now stop this economy rolling for Cloud9. It's going to be comfortable for them to buy up round after round. Mitch is always looking for that early pick B, but then he transitions to mid to see if anyone's going to be facing it short. There is a little bit of aggression from Homeless. They've pushed up at both sides. Cloud9, they expected this. They're waiting for this. Oh.
Ooh, okay, Superman. I respect that. That's 2, but the trade out there. So we got same bodies and advantage because that's what Sage does. Bringing your teammate back into the battle. Som lines up, though, onto Mitch. While that's going on, though, TenZ has managed to body one over by the tree. Laski with a classic and a dream. And that is a very, very ambitious shot there. It does not work out for him.
This is going to be 5-2. Realistically, as we're going to see Som again just show us what he has to offer with the Ares. He was able to do a little bit of success with it. We even saw the Odin get broken out earlier in the game between TSM and Sentinels too. I mean, having a Sova with an Odin on a map like Ascent where there's so many walls to just smash through and be banged on the other side.
Very fun.
Very fun indeed.
Fun for Sinatra.
It was.
Not fun for TSM.
Look, money's still just ridiculous now. Like, there's so much bank balance that they should be comfortable for 2, maybe even 3 rounds at this point, even if they're dropping. So it's going to be very difficult to rescue this half for Homeless. I'm just wondering, like, what would they be comfortable with? What would they be happy with at this point? I know they looked really good attacking against T1, but they had already had the like very aggressive and very successful defensive half that kind of teed them up for that success.
Oh
and
my
there's
word.
Mitch right between the eyes of Laski.
What a shot there. I feel as if Mitch has just been conditioning them more and more every single round, right? He would hang out back. He wouldn't get too aggressive. He would play around it. He would go back over to that little hut that's there right by on B site. You know, just giving him new looks. And I think this time around they were like, okay, I think we can push. But that went right into Mitch's hands. Shinobi does do some damage there to dephh. Mitch is already, or TenZ, excuse me, is already going to be on the site. And you heard there the From the Shadows come out. But the kills are actually going to be working out here for Homeless. Right through the cyber cage there. Well done. Only player left alive is going to be Shinobi. So despite the great start that this team had, dephh is going to be meeting him around the corner here in Shinobi versus dephh. And dephh just backs out of this one. Shinobi, though, waiting to see if he actually pushes this. He threw the gun down. Maybe to give them the cue as to, you know, him pushing around it. But they were a little wise to that one there. Again, those mind games that these players like to run with.
Laski is 0 and 6, not looking particularly comfortable on the Omen. Does still have the op. I do prefer Laski on the Raze. I just feel like when you go from playing Raze, where you have so much information to be gathered from your boombot, to then playing an Omen, where you kind of have to rely on flashes and almost blind peeking comparatively to the boombot, which almost works as like a little bit of an entry fragger for you. You can find it very difficult to transition between those two agents. He did it better a little bit. He did it a little bit better yesterday than he is today. But still plenty of rounds for him to make up for things, and maybe he can be influential with his op here now at 5-3.
Even yesterday, Laski was struggling. He went 8-13 despite the win against T1. So perhaps it just could be a case of Omen just not really agreeing with him, which is a possibility. TenZ. Oh, if that would have worked out, he would have been a genius, but he just didn't have enough airtime.
But he already is a genius.
He is, yes, this is true. These are facts.
But he is always just trying to think outside of the box, but he goes right into the crosshair of Supamen. Supamen, his aim looks a little bit better. He looks a bit more comfortable on Ascent than he did on Bind. And I think that's very important for Homeless. If they are going to have a chance of getting back into this series and maybe even winning this series, a lot rides on Supamen, I feel. Him and dephh, I think you mentioned it before this game started, they were the two that were slacking a little bit on Bind. And I know that's tough. When you're a Brimstone and you're a Cypher, it's not always easy to pick up kills if you are being picked off at the start of the round.
Oh, nice kill there, Orbital Strike. One thing you love to see when you're a Brimstone main is getting a kill with your Orbital Strike. Poised does manage to dink. This was going to be, I think it was just Relyks that got onto site. Poised with 2. Supamen, though, around the corner. Supamen gets 4, but now needs to get onto the site. Does have enough time. Som on top of the generator and manages to clutch this one out. He looked like he was going to get on top of the generator and then go for the kill above, but he didn't quite nail the jump. He had Laski there to back him up, but Laski still without a kill. Maybe he could have given that one to his buddy. I don't know, but it's okay.
Just give him that confidence booster. So
give him one, you know?
Laski, go on. You go get it,
No
buddy.
one wants to be a baker. No one wants to open up a donut shop.
No one wants to be 007, which is a possibility for Laski. No assists, no kills. He's going to be James Bond if he's not careful.
Can't believe I remember that.
Wasn't expecting you to sing it, if I'm going to be completely honest, or hum it. I guess that was more of a...
I have a magical voice. Even though my voice is kind of rough right now because of my VOs. I'm telling you, sometimes I nail it. Oh, speaking of nailing it, TenZ nailed that first shot, gets first blood, and there's Relyks as well to have his teammates back.
It does mean Laski is 0-7. That's yeah, that's not a very good start, but I guess he won't mind if he's still able to watch the rest of the team pick up a 5th round, because at 5-5 this suddenly looks a lot better than what it did earlier.
It does.
It was looking like Cloud9 were going to run away with things, but it's been the A hold that has been quite strong for Homeless. Supamen has been stepping up, dephh alongside him, and it's done some real work. Now here comes the push onto A.
Som with a cheeky recon bolt will give him information that a few players are going to be pushing out, and gets a kill out of that one too. Watch out for TenZ though. Once this smoke comes out and it dissipates, TenZ will have the angle on anyone that pushes this. And there he goes. Oh, but Supamen is going to get the better of TenZ there. That's a bit of a shocker. Poised now going to push this one forward. Supamen goes down courtesy of Vice now. Poised continuing to play around this ledge. Does not obtain the kill. It's Shinobi instead. And we're at 6-4, but you're right, Gaskin. Even despite that loss, things are still looking up here for Homeless.
I mean, I hate to single out Laski again, but when you're 0-6 now, 0-7, you need to be rethinking about where you're going to be watching. Like, if you're not confident in your shot, and if now you're aggressively facing to try and make up for all those deaths, maybe drop deeper on the site. Don't be that first pick. Don't be the reason that your team loses a round, because otherwise then the conversation is going to be had between the team of like, hey, well, what if Laski didn't die there? Would we have done a little bit better?
Yeah. I think if Laski starts getting some more frags and them putting together the rounds that they have been able to do so in this half, despite some of the shortcomings that they've experienced, I don't feel that bad about what Homeless is doing against Cloud9. They just need some players to step it up here.
Yeah, I think if they can pick up 5 rounds, Homeless will be happy. 7-5 isn't too bad on a defensive side on Ascent. I know we've seen some big swingy games on Ascent where everyone will argue, is it an attacking-sided map? Is it a defensive-sided map? And to be honest, I think it just comes down to practice and how successful people can attack on Ascent and how much time they've put into these executes. Or it's going to come down to who's on fire, who's hitting their shots, who's winning those 1v1 engagements. And in the early stages of this game, it was Cloud9. Now we've seen Homeless step up for a couple of rounds.
Ooh, this could be a big paranoia. And actually ends up not lining that one up. We stepped away for a second. I didn't tell if that animation was paranoia or if it was dark cover. Perhaps it was dark cover. Either way, though, doesn't matter. What does matter is that Supamen is going to get that first blood. Orbital Strike is now going to be available to him. Forces back the Cypher. So no presence there for Vice. Just going to be backed away for a little bit. More time delaying too, which is the scarier part. Man. Unfortunately for Laski, he is continuing to struggle here. Mitch with an angle at the windows. We'll see anyone coming through this mid-market. He's watching around the flanks as well in case anyone's there, but no one will be. Had Laski been able to get a kill, that actually could have given him an opportunity. To just delay that, and then they can push in right with some more time. Mitch, though, he's just doing the job here. Slow orb as well, gets another one. Mitch, oh, Mitch with an ace. That's why you signed him. That right there.
One of the best sages we've seen in quite some time. Definitely put him up there with the likes of dephh for having that ability to be aggressive, to be that battle sage that we talk about. And I mean, I wonder whether they are targeting Laski a little bit. Once they suss out where he is, they know he's been playing B site. I mean, that opening frag from Mitch was great. Obviously boosting himself up and then spotting Laski right deep back in Boathouse. Laski did suss it out and he went for the dark cover, but didn't really work out. Mitch had already got his crosshair placement, knew exactly where Laski was. I mean, the ace was almost looked simple. You know it's not simple.
Yeah.
The fact he was able to just pick him off one by one there. Phenomenal.
Just very clean. This time around, though, they will take out Mitch, which has been a plus for them. A counter paranoia 2 does work out. Relyks just had to bounce on out of there or else he would have ended up falling. We'll retrieve this spike right back in their hands. And then they're going to go over to plan B now. So we tried to get inside of that B site. They sent all the bodies there that was necessary, and they won that battle. They're going to be looking to win the war here on the half.
And with the two-man advantage, if I'm Laski, I'm going searching for kills. I do not want to finish a half without a kill. Otherwise, I would just not only be scared about my teammates and how they're going to shout at me, but I would not be happy with my individual performance as Supamen takes down Vice. Here comes TenZ, and well, okay, Poised. He cleans those two up.
He's a team player.